Hey YouTube, this is Primetime Pokemon. In this video, I'll be doing an updated facts video. And facts stands for frequently asked questions, and I'll be responding to 23 different questions asked by my viewers. I did do a facts video several years ago on my channel. I can link to that video up in the corner of this video. So the past few days in my most recent videos and then on my Facebook and Twitter pages, I have been asking viewers for questions they'd like to see me answer in this video. So all different types of questions I'll be answering throughout this video related to my channel, my new book, and myself personally. So let's get to those questions. What inspired you to make a YouTube channel, and did you ever think you'd get this popular? So this is a very popular question that I get a lot. What inspired me to make my YouTube channel? And I believe I started my YouTube channel back in November of 2008. I was on Thanksgiving break from college. And I had been watching a few different opening videos on YouTube and just had some interest in making my own video to see what was out there with the Pokemon TCG. I had been collecting the cards off and on since base set was new in 1999. So really it was two reasons for starting my channel. One was to have some fun just making videos, and then the second was to see what was new with the Pokemon TCG. And did I ever think I'd get this popular? I'm very close to 400,000 subscribers on my channel. I definitely did not think I'd ever get this popular, but that definitely doesn't change the style of channel that I'll have, and I always try and respond to all comments and messages on my channel. And for me personally, I believe it took about a year to get 1,000 subscribers on my channel. After that, my channel really took off. But really, it was about a new video every week or so when I first started out, and I really didn't think I'd do this full time like I do now, making videos every single day. But I received a lot of good feedback on some of the videos I made right away, and they were very low quality. That tells you something about the state of PokeTubing back in 2008. But I did receive a lot of positive feedback, and that just encouraged me to continue to make more videos. And like today, I make new videos every single day, have been making new videos on my channel since probably 2010. So for 7 years now, have not missed a day of posting a video. Why did you choose the name Primetime Pokemon? So this is another question that I get a lot. Why is my name Primetime Pokemon? And I believe I did answer this question in my original facts video. But the reason I chose Primetime Pokemon is my nickname growing up was Primetime. And I played a lot of basketball growing up. There was a park near my house that had 4 basketball hoops, and I would go over there every single day during the summer and then after school. And a lot of people there would call me Primetime just because I was so good at basketball. I was a lights out shooter, and I would always show up to play very good defensively too. So my name was Primetime at that park, and a lot of people knew me as that. So I just combined the two, Primetime and Pokemon, and I'm very happy I chose that name. How did you start collecting Pokemon cards? So as you probably know, I have been collecting Pokemon cards since 1999 when base set was new. I actually had my first encounter with Pokemon by watching the Pokemon anime. My mom ran a daycare from our house when I was younger, so every day after school I would come home and watch the Pokemon anime on Kids WB. I believe I was 10 at the time. Going on 11 is when I first got into the Pokemon TCG. For my 11th birthday, my aunt actually gave me the Overgrowth theme deck. Gyarados Hollow from base set was the featured card in that theme deck, and really the rest is history. Have been collecting ever since then. I haven't always collected Pokemon cards as heavily as I do now. YouTube videos has really been the catalyst to collecting Pokemon cards so heavily, but the Pokemon games are also very important to me, and that really carried my interest of Pokemon throughout the years, and I'll talk to that point in a future question. What drives you to continue making videos after all this time, and have you ever gotten tired of collecting Pokemon cards or making videos? So there's a couple of things that really drive me to make new videos on YouTube every single day. The first thing would be that I like to give viewers something new each and every day on my channel. And when I was younger growing up, my family wasn't very wealthy, so I really wasn't able to afford a lot of Pokemon cards. So another reason I make videos is to give viewers an experience of everything out there that is related to the Pokemon TCG. That's why it's a goal on my channel to always open up every single new product in the Pokemon TCG, as well as be as informational as possible in my videos to help those just beginning to collect Pokemon cards. Do I feel tired and burned out of collecting Pokemon cards and making videos? I go in streaks where I'm definitely into making videos more heavily than other times, and you can tell that in some of my videos. I know this past spring I did a lot of collection videos, and I was more motivated at that time, and that way I go through all of my cards in my collection and organize the cards and get those videos together. And times like now, when I just purchased a new camera, which I'll show later, that gives me more motivation as well. And I think that the fact that new sets in the Pokemon TCG are released every 3 months, that really keeps my desire for Pokemon cards high. And really, every 3 months a new set is released, so about 1 to 1.5 months after a new set is released, the videos get a little bit stale, I would say, just because there isn't as much new products out there. But then, like I said, every 3 months really gets me back into collecting. And just like anything, your interest goes up and down, and you go from one thing to the other. But I think Pokemon card collecting is a hobby that I'll really never entirely get out of. And if I ever do have kids, I know my girlfriend wants several, but that's something I definitely pass on to my kids. I have a lot of cards to pass on. My dad was actually the one that inspired me to collect Pokemon cards. He collected a lot of sports cards and still does to this day. Where do you store all of your Pokemon cards? As you can imagine, with over 100,000 cards in my collection, my cards are everywhere. I guess I can give you a little bit of history on how I've stored my cards over time. And when I first started on YouTube in 2008, I had about 10,000 cards in my collection, which is a good amount, but nothing compared to what I have today. At that time, when I first started on YouTube, all of my cards were stored in my childhood bedroom. I left all of the cards there when I went off to college and then lived on my own. But then after college, when I graduated there, I moved to my own apartment, moved all of my cards from my childhood bedroom to my apartment, and in my 50,000 card collection video, my last entire card collection video that I did, you could see how I stored all of my cards. They were getting out of control at that point, but double that amount to the amount of cards I have now. Now, I live in my own house, but my card collection is here, all over. There's a spare bedroom, the cards are in there. The kitchen cabinets are full of Pokemon cards. My parents' house has a lot of my card collection. I have a lot of cards in storage boxes still. They're just everywhere. So while I would love to do another entire collection video, that would require a lot of work to try and get all my cards organized. But that's why I'm doing a lot of collection videos by set, and as well as by ultra rares, like I did with the XY series of sets. Will you ever consider doing vlog or shopping videos? You know what? I may consider doing vlog or shopping videos in the future on my channel. This is really the first time that I've done a lot of face reveal videos. The last 3 Saturdays now I've done a face reveal video. I did a video on some huge news, and then a thank you for reaching 400,000 subscribers, which I'm very close to reaching. And then last week I did a book review for my brand new book, seen back here. And then today, of course, the facts video. I could definitely see doing something like a vlog or a shopping video on my channel in the future. Really, each and every week I try to improve my videos, so anything is possible on my channel. If you have any suggestions for me, please let me know. And in the past, on my Twitter and Facebook pages, I have done a lot of pictures on there of going to Walmart, Target, etc., and showing the cards that are in those stores. And it always has been a goal to start an Instagram account. I know that was a question a lot of people asked me. That's something I need to get to. Post a lot of pictures on there, not only of what's in stores, but potentially some behind the scenes on my video making. How long did it take to write your book? So now there's a couple of questions on my book, Pokemon Cards, the Unofficial Ultimate Collector's Guide, and you'll find a link to this book in the description of this video. It is a book that I entirely wrote myself, and everything inside this book is everything you need to know about the Pokemon TCG. Like I just mentioned, I did do a in-depth look at this book last Saturday in a video. I can link to that on the screen as well. But it did take me about 7 months total to write this book. I started writing the book in January, and at the end of June I was done writing all the content for the book. And then it took another month going back and forth with my publisher to go through and edit everything in the book. And of course, after the end of July is when the book went to the printing press. But after that, it's always been back and forth with the publisher, just little tidbits here and there, and just a little bit lighter load for work on the book. But it was a lot of late nights writing this book. Like I said, every single card image you see in this book outside of the Pikachu Illustrator card is a card that I have in my collection. I personally scan these cards in for this book, and I have each and every card in my collection. The images in this book are probably worth thousands of dollars is how much I put into buying all the cards inside this book. Will your book be available in stores? As far as my book goes, the best place right now to purchase this book is Amazon, and Amazon ships worldwide. You can also get this book from krausbooks.com. That is the publisher that published this book. You can get the physical book on their website as well as download an ebook for my book. But in November, I believe November 13th, almost all Barnes & Noble stores should have this book in stock, and many other bookstores as well. And if you have a bookstore you normally go to and you would like to have them get this book, just make a request and they should be able to order this book for you. But again, before I end this question, I would like to personally thank each and every one of you that has purchased my book already. A lot of people have been reviewing this book on Amazon very positively, so I thank you for that. The more reviews on there, the more people know about my book, and really, the best thing for the Pokemon community is to be as informed as possible. This is a great book for being very informational and helpful with the Pokemon TCG. Why is Charizard your favorite Pokemon? So probably the most popular question that I ever get in my videos is, what is your favorite Pokemon? As many know, my favorite Pokemon is Charizard, and I believe I answered this question in my original facts video. And Charizard is my all-time favorite Pokemon, mainly because of this card right here, the Charizard base set holo. And when I first started collecting in 1999, Charizard base set holo was not only the most powerful card in the TCG, but it was the most valuable. And as a collector, I'm always hoping to get the most valuable card. So Charizard has always been my favorite Pokemon of all time. And I did do a top 5 favorite Pokemon card of all time list. Charizard was my top 5 cards of all time. Of course, my favorite card of all time, Charizard Gold Star from the EX Dragon Frontiers set. And this is the way that I store my cards normally, if you can see that very well. It is a card in a sleeve, top loader, and then team bag. It keeps all the dust out and keeps the cards very well protected. For all of my videos, the cards usually aren't in protection at all because the protection usually does give off a big glare, as you can see on camera here. But this base set Charizard holo, the reason that Charizard is my favorite Pokemon of all time. Who is your second favorite Pokemon? So like I just talked about, Charizard is my favorite Pokemon of all time. It may surprise you what my second favorite Pokemon all time would be, and it is Feraligatr. A couple of different reasons. Feraligatr is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, and it really doesn't have anything to do with Pokemon cards at all. The main reason that Feraligatr is my second favorite Pokemon is because I started playing the Pokemon games with Pokemon Crystal. That is a second generation game for the Game Boy Color. I chose Totodile as my starter. I always have been a huge water type starter fan, outside of course of Charmander, which evolves into Charizard. But that Totodile was the first starter I ever had in the Pokemon games. Leveled that up to Feraligatr, and Feraligatr was the first level 100 Pokemon I ever had in any of my games. So that Pokemon really holds a special place in my heart, and that is the reason that Feraligatr would be my second favorite Pokemon of all time. And I believe I did do a top 10 Pokemon list several years ago on my channel. You should definitely check that out. And a lot of the questions I did get for this video if you go through my videos, and I know I have a lot of videos on my channel, I have answered a ton of questions that people have been asking. Just takes a little bit of time to find the specific video you're looking for. What is your all-time favorite type of ultra rare or secret rare card? So now on to a question that I hadn't thought of before and I wanted to include in this video. I would say my favorite ultra rare or secret rare type of card of all time would be the Gold Star card. And like I mentioned, Charizard Gold Star from the EX Dragon Frontier set is my favorite card of all time. And I can show what a Gold Star card looks like. Here is the Charizard, my favorite card of all time, if you can see that on camera there without the glare showing too much. But these Gold Star cards have an actual gold star after the Pokemon's name. They are in the EX series of sets, as well as the POP Series 5 set, I believe. Espeon and Umbreon would be the two in that promo set. They're actually some of the most valuable Gold Star cards out of all. I think there are 27 total. And all of those cards are worth about $100 or more a piece. Like I mentioned, that's really the only cards I'm looking for in trade, just because I have pretty much every other card in the Pokemon TCG. But a couple of reasons I really like those Gold Star cards. Number one, they're all very valuable. Number two, they are the shiny version of the Pokemon, and I played the Pokemon games quite a bit, and was never able to encounter a shiny Pokemon in the wild outside of event Pokemon. And then number three, they are very rare to pull from packs. I really didn't open that many EX series products in my childhood growing up. Here's another look. Here is the Latios Gold Star. And in my book, I have a list of all of the Gold Star cards out there, as well as price ranges and pull rates for all of them. But I would say out of all the different ultra rare and secret rare cards, the Gold Star cards would be my favorite. I would say I have 20 of the 27 Gold Star cards, and very rare to have and very expensive. It's very popular as well to get these types of cards graded. That really skyrockets the cards in value. How long does it take you to make a video? So now I'm going to get into some questions not related to Pokemon cards as much, and at the end of this video I'll be answering some questions not related to Pokemon cards at all. But as far as making my YouTube videos and how long it takes, first off, I actually don't record new videos every single day. I do post new videos to YouTube every single day, but I would say a couple of times a week usually. I spend several hours during those days and record a handful of videos. And then I go back and edit one video a day that I then post to YouTube the following day. And something that has cut my editing time in half really lately is I purchased both a new microphone and a new camera. And I can show those both. And the first thing is the external microphone that I purchased. This is a Rode microphone. Something I like about this microphone is that it is very quiet when there's not any sound. There's not much for background noise, which is a problem I had with the internal mic on my older camera that I was using for my videos. So a huge fan of this microphone. I can't remember who recommended this brand of microphone to me, but I thank you very much. I believe it was on Twitter. Someone tweeted that I should get a Rode microphone. And then the camera that I use now is the Panasonic HC-VX981. This is the camera I'm recording this video on. And this camera is much better than my older camera for a couple of reasons. First off, and I really don't record any videos in 4K, is that the camera does shoot in 4K. If the 4K resolution does take off in the future, I have the ability to record in 4K. Right now I record in 1080 resolution with a 60 frames per second frame rate, which is top quality. Definitely watch my videos in that quality if your internet is fast enough. Very happy with the quality of this camera. Another thing this camera gives me the option of doing is doing face cam videos. I have not done anything like that on my channel yet. May do that in the future. I know a lot of people want me to do face cam openings when I'm opening Pokemon cards to see my reactions when I'm pulling something good. But you can hook up, for example, my iPhone, I can hook it up to this camera, show my face with the iPhone, and then record the openings with this camera. So that's something I may do in the future. The only downfall of this camera was that the internal microphone wasn't very good. The microphone is trying to get sound out in front. I'm of course speaking from behind the camera when I'm making my opening videos, so there was a lot of echo with this camera, so I was able to get that Rode microphone to fix the sound issues. But very happy with the quality and sound of my videos recently, and a lot of people are commenting with the same kind of positive words for my videos. And as far as actually editing my videos, I used to not edit my videos at all. I left everything uncut. Whatever I recorded on the camera, I put directly on YouTube. That of course won't cut it nowadays as far as videos go. But nowadays, for example, with a 10-minute video, I may spend an hour to an hour and a half editing that video. I watch the entire video, make sure everything looks good on camera, everything's in focus, the sound is excellent, I don't mistake a Pokemon's name, calling it the wrong thing, everything like that. Of course, things do get past me, and a lot of commenters, of course, let me know. But I try and make the best quality videos all the time, and everything I post to YouTube, I've watched several times on my own and made sure that, as far as I can tell, everything in the video is perfect. So a fair amount of time is spent editing, but I think that makes my videos that much better. And you should know that I do not edit my videos in any way to make it seem like I get better pulls than I actually did. I don't weigh my packs, anything like that. Whatever I get in my openings is what was inside that product. What is your opinion on the PokeTuber community today compared to when you first started? So this is a very interesting question. And I started making videos on YouTube in 2008, and a couple of PokeTubers that I watched back then, Mr. Pokemon 1, 2, 3, I guess was my biggest rival back then, and then God Trainers, actually the videos I watched when I first was getting into making videos on YouTube. Those two PokeTubers are long gone. They haven't made videos for probably 5+ years. Slayer of MCA is another person that I would watch a lot of videos. He was pretty good. I believe he was based in New Zealand. He hasn't made very many videos lately, so really a lot of the people that I watch videos of for PokeTubers no longer make videos. Nowadays, things that are very popular are the massive openings, and personally I'm not a huge fan of opening 15 booster boxes at once, what have you. Personally, I'm a collector. I can't afford to do that type of thing. What they do in their videos is everything they open up they sell. It's all for profit in their videos, which I'm not a huge fan of. And in my opinion, the PokeTubing community is oversaturated. There's so many PokeTubers out there. But of course, there are demand for all different types of videos. So just because I'm not a huge fan of the huge openings or the over-the-top reactions that you see in some videos, lots of people are fans, and that's something that I'm perfectly fine with, having all different types of styles of videos out there. Each and every person watching videos would like their own thing. That's why I like making my own videos, because my style of video is what I personally like best. If I was to go out and watch another PokeTuber, it would be my channel if I didn't make my channel and my videos, just because I like the style of video that I do. I don't actually watch that many PokeTubers nowadays regularly. I would say anyone that has sent me a fan mail package, I have watched at least one of their videos, usually several, but I really don't subscribe to any specific PokeTuber, just because if I subscribe to one PokeTuber, then all these other people that send me the fan mail packages are asking me why I don't subscribe to them. But as far as the PokeTubing community goes, way more people out there making videos. That's really a generational thing as well. Kids nowadays, they're all about phones and technology. They're always online making videos, making vlogs, so it's just a different lifestyle. That's why there's so many people out there making videos. And it's not a bad thing. It's not really the best thing as well, but I think for each person out there, there's a distinct style for you, and you can make your own channel even more specialized. So as far as how the PokeTubing community is nowadays, way more PokeTubers out there. The content is definitely better, and really there is a channel for each and every style of opening you'd like to see. What are your other interests / hobbies outside of Pokemon? So now we're getting into some more personal questions. For hobbies and other interests, first off, I am a huge sports fan. I am born and raised in Minnesota, never left the state of Minnesota to live anywhere. Went to college here, high school here, worked everywhere in Minnesota. So as far as sports go, Minnesota Vikings, Minnesota Timberwolves, Minnesota Twins, and Minnesota Wild. My two favorite sports would be football and basketball. Huge football fan, spend a lot of time doing daily fantasy sports, specifically with fantasy football. I usually have about 40 different teams in every single week during the fantasy football season, so a huge fantasy football fan. I'm a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. Went to their training camp in Mankato, Minnesota, which is about an hour from where I live. I went there many, many years, and I can talk about what I collect in a future question here. But a huge sports fan, number one. Number two, I'm big into fitness and exercising. I can probably show a quick view of my weight room, but I actually have a weight room in my house. I have a treadmill, a lot of free weights, a lot of different dumbbells. I have a Bowflex dumbbell that goes from, I believe, 5 to 52 pounds. Those are very handy, take up a lot less space than a bunch of different dumbbells. I have a trap and deadlift bar, curl bar, tricep bar, stability ball, everything you need for a home gym I have. Just love working out, makes you feel great. I like to eat very healthy as well. That really helps you stay injury free. Was in track and field in high school, so am a big runner as well. Usually try and run about a mile a few times a week, so I stay in very good health, and exercising is very important to me and takes up a lot of my time. Of course, I do have a girlfriend. I believe we're going on 8 years now of dating, so I spent a lot of time with her, and you'll see her influence in some of the answers I give to some future questions in this video. I also am a big fan of disc golf, and I can show here the discs that I have, and in my hometown here where I live, there's actually 3 18-hole disc golf courses. It was something my brother got me into. I love to play disc golf, and I'm a big Innova fan. When I lived in the suburbs of Minneapolis, there was a store, Gotta Go, Gotta Throw. Innova was the main brand there, and I guess for those interested, I don't know how many people that actually watch my videos play disc golf or anything. I use a McPro AVR for my putter, and this one's actually signed by my favorite disc golfer, Paul McBeth. Guy's about the same stature as me, about 5'8", 160, a little bit on the smaller side, so I always root for those guys that have a height disadvantage like myself. And then as far as the mid-range drivers, I use two. I use the Rock 3. This is more of a straight to overstable disc. And then the Mako 3, and these are all champion line for the mid-range drivers. Mako 3 is more of an understable, and that one is more of a straight to understable. So overstable will always go to the left, understable will go more towards the right or straight. So those are the two mid-range that I use. And then the driver that I use would be a T-Bird, and this is a Metal Flake T-Bird. Love the Champion plastic on here, but this is a fairly straight flyer. I actually live about 3 blocks away from the elementary school here in town, and there's a lot of open fields there. Go to that elementary school and practice throwing. I actually have a disc golf basket in my garage. Bring that out every summer and practice my putting there. So that's one interest I have. Another interest I have is I do a lot of fishing. There are 5 different lakes here in town. My girlfriend and I just got another fishing license. Catch a lot of crappie and sunnies, and just put together a new pole. I have always been a Shimano reel fan. I use an open reel, a spinning reel. Love the Ultegra reel. And then for bait, I always use the wax worms, but then I like to use these tube jigs. I always try to get the chartreuse green and maybe a pink to attract the fish. But fishing, I like quite well. Anything outdoors, any type of sporting event, that type of thing, really are my interests. Did you go to college? And if yes, what did you major in? So I believe this was a question asked by one of my longtime viewers. In some of my older videos on YouTube, I talked about going to college and being in school several times. So yes, I did go to college. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics. A funny story about videos and in college, I actually made I believe just one, maybe two videos where I was actually in college in my dormitory. I shared it with a roommate at the time, and I would believe I was opening up a level X tin, and he didn't know I made videos on YouTube at the time. So I was making the video, he wasn't in the room, I thought he was coming into the room, I thought I heard someone unlock the door. So I quick threw everything away and tried to hide that I was making a video. I show that on camera in my tin opening, and it ended up not being him at all. I think it was just someone walking by, so I always get a good laugh when I watch that video. It's just something that's pretty funny. And by the end of college, he knew that I made YouTube videos. He was pretty impressed by it and how much of a following I had on my channel. He and I took an entrepreneurship class together, and I actually talked about my YouTube channel in that class, sort of just what goes into creating your own channel and really how I make my videos and whatnot. But as far as education goes, like I said, I do have a bachelor's degree in economics. That helped me get in the door to jobs, and I would say right out of college I went into a marketing job in the Twin Cities area, suburb of Minneapolis, and I lasted in that role for about a year. I thought I wanted to do marketing, but the project I was working on folded. So I stayed at the same company and moved over into web development, which I love to do. I love to create websites, I love to design websites, use CSS, etc. I did that for about 2.5 years. I think I was at that company for 3 full years. And then I moved back to my hometown where I live now. I took a job as a software engineer. So I've lived in my hometown for, I believe, 3 years now, and I live in this house. I bought this house in 2015, so I've lived here a couple of years. That's really what I've been doing since college, what I've graduated with, and what I've been doing with my life. As far as getting a post-secondary education, in my personal experience, having a college degree just gets you in the door to places. It'll get you into the door. A lot of places don't necessarily look for a certain major, but really just look to see if you have a college degree. Just the additional education and the experience in college helps you get into a certain employer. Once you're into an employer, really what matters most is past experience. For my example, I moved into web development. In college, I thought I was going to be a computer scientist. Took computer science classes for about 2.5 years, then switched to economics, which I really like. I like the supply and demand and analyzing the market, how different products work and supply and demand, even with Pokemon cards. That's why I like to do the how much are Pokemon cards worth video. I like to look at prices, how they vary over time. But because I had experience in college with programming, I moved to web development, and then the software engineer position that I was able to get. Basically, I got that position because I was a web developer for several years. So really, the moral of the story, anything that you get above a high school education is going to help you. Even if it's a certificate of completing a program for a few months. I know my girlfriend was a CNA for a little bit of time, and that was just a class she took for a little while. That helped her get a bump in pay. Anything you get will help out. So that's really the moral of the story. Do I think it was necessary to go to college? No. I'm still paying off my loans. I think my loans are about $20,000. Still paying that out, but it has helped me in my career since high school. Do you collect anything other than Pokemon cards? As you can imagine, with over 100,000 cards in my collection, I am a big collector of things outside of Pokemon cards. I actually started collecting sports cards when I was very young. My dad, to this day, collects a lot of sports cards, mainly football cards. He also collects a lot of autographs, both through the mail and in person. So I personally have a lot of autographs, mainly of athletes, in my collection. And another reason that I wear a lot of Jordan shirts in my video, I have a Michael Jordan autograph, have met him in person in a celebrity golf tournament. All of my brothers and my dad have several Michael Jordan autographs. So one of the best basketball players of all time, and someone that I support. Very generous of him to sign so many autographs when he is so famous and so good. Other than that, I have pretty much everyone related to Minnesota Pro Sports. as an autograph, usually on cards, sometimes on 8x10 photos. Went to the Minnesota Vikings training camp in Mankato from 1998 up until last year. Of course, they are moving their training camp to Eagan, Minnesota this coming year. Minnesota Twins, I have a lot of their autographs. I, of course, have Kirby Puckett on a baseball and several cards before he passed away. Minnesota Timberwolves, I do have a Kevin Garnett autograph. Personally, not a fan of him off the court, very good on the court though. And then all of the current Minnesota Timberwolves players, excluding this year. I have a lot of their autographs. I am a big Ricky Rubio fan. Was sorry to see him traded to the Utah Jazz, but very excited. I am recording this video on Friday. If you're interested, I guess you can check yesterday's box score, but the Utah Jazz coming to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Target Center, the newly remodeled Target Center, for the home opener for the Timberwolves. Of course, the Timberwolves signed Jimmy Butler in a trade, signed Jeff Teague, Taj Gibson, and then they have Jamal Crawford coming off the bench. So very excited for the Timberwolves season to start. They've lost one game so far, but I think there are big things ahead for the Timberwolves. They finally should make the playoffs. I know when I was back in college, I was a Timberwolves fan my entire life, but back then they were winning less than 20 games a season. A guy would joke with me all the time that I must be the only Timberwolves fan around, but have stuck with the Timberwolves through thick and thin. Another thing that I used to collect, I don't collect as much nowadays, would be video games. I'll get to this answer in a future question, but I used to have, I would say, about 100 GameCube games and then about 80 Game Boy Advance games. So went all in on collecting different games. Was fairly a big gamer back in the day. Like I said, I'll get to that more in detail in a bit. But really, I do sort of go all in when I'm collecting something. Another thing I like to collect would be shoes. At one time, I probably had 15 different pairs of Jordan shoes. Recently, I'm not a huge fan of the Jordan shoes in my opinion. They're just too heavy. And a lot of times, the shoes with the flat bottoms really affect my feet, so I don't like those as much. Nowadays, I wear Nike Air Max shoes. Try and get at least one pair for each and every year. Very comfortable shoes, very expensive, so I always look to buy whatever's on clearance. Sometimes it's a wild looking color, but very comfortable shoes. Another thing that I collect, which may surprise you, would be African violets. And this is a type of flower. Just recently started collecting African violets in the past 6 months or so. And knowing a little bit more about me may make more sense why I collect these types of flowers. Number one, when my mom first was out of high school, she went to technical school to be a botanist, basically someone who worked in a flower shop. She was in charge of making floral arrangements for anyone that made orders through where she worked. And then my girlfriend's mom, she actually works in a greenhouse and has for several years. So I have all these outside influences that work with flowers and different plants. So African violets are very interesting. I can show some that I have. But what I like best about them, they don't even have to have flowers, just so many different looking leaves, the variegated leaves, different size of African violets, and I specifically like the fantasy colored African violets. That's where a flower may be blue in color, but it may have a fantasy color to it, like a pink where it's speckled and streaked with a different color, and each flower is random. So sort of something different I have been collecting lately. But really, I have a wide variety of interests. And what I found, at least when I collected Pokemon cards when I was younger, there's always going to be someone out there that has the same collecting and hobbies as you. So even though it may not be a popular hobby to have, someone out there will have that hobby. I know back when I was in even high school, I used to play the Pokemon games. My neighbor that lives across the street from me growing up, he would play the Pokemon games as well. It would be just us two. I remember going to gym class and I always talked to him about what Pokemon he was working on leveling up that day. So there's always people that are going to share the same interests as you. I guess going back to that interest question, another major interest I have is some ping pong. Bought a ping pong table for my basement this past July for my birthday, sort of gift to myself. Very good at ping pong. Back in college, I was actually on a team there where other colleges would come in and play people from my college. Very good in ping pong. More of an offensive player. I can really hit it hard, really go all out, smashing the ball, put all kinds of spin on the ball, top spin, back spin, side spin, etc. I play my middle brother quite often. He actually hasn't played me in a while just because I've been beating him so much. But he's very defensive in his strategy, so I can just wail on the ball, hit it as hard as I can, and he's standing back there just hitting it back every single time. Put all my energy into hitting that ball, and then he can hit it back. But a huge ping pong fan. Like I said, if there is a game, I'll be up to play it. Have a dartboard, have a couple of pool cues for pool, anything like that I'm open to. Any game out there, I'll go and play. Are you a gamer, and do you play the Pokemon games? So knowing that I collect Pokemon cards and knowing that the Pokemon games are very popular, you can link the two and know that I was a big gamer. At least I used to be a big gamer. Not so much nowadays. I can sort of explain my situation. But going back to my childhood, my family wasn't the wealthiest growing up, so I personally didn't have any video games in the house until I was able to work part-time and afford a Nintendo GameCube and a Game Boy Advance. But back when I used to go to my grandparents, I'd only go there about a couple of times a year. They actually had an original Nintendo and then a Sega Genesis. I would play the Mario games on there, and then I would play Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis. That really got me into gaming. Like I mentioned with collecting, I owned a ton of Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance games. I am a huge Nintendo fan. I've put thousands of hours into the Pokemon games. I put over 1,000 hours into Pokemon Crystal. Whenever I'm playing the Pokemon games, the goal is to complete the game as quickly as possible, similar to what I do with the Pokemon card sets. I like to complete the sets as quickly as possible. And then I like to train all the time, go battle the Elite Four to get all of my Pokemon up to level 100. And at one time, I had every single main Pokemon game from Red and Blue up to X and Y. Unfortunately, when I moved from the apartment where I lived up in the Minneapolis suburbs to my hometown when I took a new job, I had a lot of my stuff in storage. My entire storage unit was robbed. Everything was taken. I lost all of my handheld systems. I had all of the handheld systems from the Game Boy all the way up to several Nintendo DS. All that was stolen. All of my video games were stolen. So that has really deterred me from playing a lot of games recently. I have played Sun and Moon, but I don't own either of those games. Nowadays, my girlfriend plays the Xbox One. She's more of a first-person shooter type of video gamer. I have a Nintendo Wii down there. Luckily, I had my Wii at my parents' house, not in storage. Didn't have any of the games, but I had the memory card with the Nintendo Wii. Love to play the games on the Virtual Console on there. So I'm a huge Mario fan, huge Sonic fan. Sonic 2 I've beat countless times, one of my favorite games of all time. A huge 2D platform gamer and a huge, like I said, Nintendo fan. Love all of the Mario games. Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. Probably not a better racer out there than myself. Have beat every single cup on there, 50cc all the way up to mirror mode. Just love that game. A game I really liked for the GameCube was Animal Crossing. Spent a lot of time on that game. Just love logging into the game every single day and collecting whatever was new that day. Heading to the store, finding the rock that gave you a lot of money, going fishing, that type of thing. But as far as gaming, don't play the games that much anymore. Working like I do, owning a home, all of that stuff takes a lot of time. Making videos every day, collecting the cards. Really, just having a life outside of Pokemon cards really takes precedence over gaming. But I do every once in a while play some video games again, check in on Pokemon, etc. What are your favorite TV shows? So as far as TV shows go, I am a big TV guy, not so much a movie guy, but I would say my all-time favorite TV show would easily be The Office. I love shows with a lot of comedy. I've watched The Office, the entire series, several times. I would say it's one of my girlfriend's favorite shows as well. Love the character of Michael Scott in there. Just love the ensemble cast, really. That's a trend you'll find in a lot of the shows I like to watch. Love the running joke with Michael in The Office on hoping that you two will show up to all these events. One that strikes my memory is the Pam and Jim wedding. Love the Chris Brown Forever wedding ceremony there. but Michael hoping that YouTube will show up. I always get a good kick out of that. Other shows that I really like, I would say Numbers. If you've never watched this show before, it was on Netflix for quite a while. I don't think it's on there anymore. 6 or 7 seasons, I believe, of Numbers. It's like CSI, but with math. So a great show. Here is the entire cast. One of my favorite shows of all time. Actually watched this show for the first time in my Theory of Knowledge class in high school. And then Friday nights during college, I would always watch Numbers. It is an hour-long show. Shows that are on TV right now that I watch, I would say The Big Bang Theory is one of my favorite. I have been watching The Big Bang Theory since the first season. Back when I was in college, I had a few channels on TV there in my dorm. Didn't have cable. CBS was one of the channels I did receive, so I watched The Big Bang Theory for a very long time. Grey's Anatomy I watched with my girlfriend. She's a nurse, so she is big into medical shows. I do watch some home renovation shows. Property Brothers I am a fan of. Rehab Addict with Nicole Curtis I am a fan of as well. She did a lot of work in Minneapolis. She does a lot of work in Detroit now. But when I lived up in the Minneapolis suburbs, I would drive around and see the work she was doing on her houses. Also, my parents live in an older house with some nice woodwork in there, some nice trim. So that always reminds me of my parents' house when I watch that show. Other shows that I watch on TV, I'm a big Pawn Stars fan. Counting Cars. Another show that I like, Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmern. He's another guy that lives in Minnesota. Try to go to different places that are in his show. I don't travel too much, haven't been out of the country or anything like that, but my girlfriend and I like to go to different places, especially in Minnesota, that have good food. I am a big fan of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy, and been to a few different restaurants that he has recommended. Actually, a classmate from high school is on his camera crew, at least from time to time has recorded some of his shows. Other shows that I watch, like I said, I am a big comedy fan and have watched all the episodes of Rules of Engagement, How I Met Your Mother, Friends. Those are 3 great shows. Just watched Friends on Netflix. Surprised I hadn't watched that show before. Am a big fan of the ensemble cast. Becker is a great show. Could even be right up there with The Office. That was a show in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. Sort of a medical show. It was more of a comedy show with Ted Danson. Excellent show right there. Early Edition I like quite well. That was only on the air for a few years. Had the DVDs for those seasons, but had those stolen, unfortunately. Other shows that I like on Netflix, my girlfriend and I just got done watching Pretty Little Liars, and that's funny there. My girlfriend gets not a good laugh. She actually gets upset at me. She started watching the show. She'd come over here and watch the show while I'd be doing videos or doing whatever, and I'd watch the show with her. I thought, oh, that's not a bad show. So then we'd watch it together. Then I ended up binge watching the show and finished the entire series before her, and she is not very happy. She still isn't done watching that series, so I know who all of the different A characters were, and she does not, which is a good feeling for me, not so much for her. Other shows I like to watch, like I said, Pretty Little Liars is the most recent one that I watch. At nighttime, I actually watch Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting. If I'm feeling a little bit restless at nighttime, I like to just watch him. Very relaxing style of movie there with his painting. I guess it's not a movie, but a video, an episode. Some people have even compared me to Bob Ross with my relaxing style of videos. Been watching a little bit of Bob Ross lately. I've been watching a lot of Extended Time, the Lock-Up series of shows, sort of some crime shows on Netflix. But really, I have many different interests, and I watch all different types of shows, but those are some of my favorites. I would highly recommend any of those, and if you ever want to discuss any of those with me, let me know. And of course, I watch all kinds of sports games. I will not miss a Minnesota Vikings game or a Minnesota Timberwolves game. Twins game, I'll watch it here and there. And then Wild, really, all it comes to is if they're in the playoffs, I'll watch. I'm not a huge hockey fan in general. But those are some of my favorite TV shows. As you can tell, I am a big TV fan. What are your favorite movies? So like I mentioned, I am mainly a TV guy, not so much a movie guy. But I would say the movies that are my favorite would be anything in the comedy genre. Probably my favorite movie series of all time would be the Back to the Future movies. 1, 2, and 3. I know they're a little bit older of movie nowadays, filmed in the mid to late 80s, but love all 3 movies. Do have a shirt from the first movie that I wore in last week's book review video. Like I mentioned, a big fan of comedy, so any actor that was in Saturday Night Live in the early 90s, specifically Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, and David Spade, anything with any of those actors in, I will watch. Kevin James, I'm a big fan of. I read all of the Harry Potter books several times, so I am a big fan of all the Harry Potter movies. Those are a little bit older nowadays too. As far as other movies go, things like Rush Hour I'm a fan of. Any action movies, that type of thing. Personally, I don't go and see many movies in the movie theater. I know my girlfriend and I like to do the Red Box. You know, every Friday or something like that, we'll go to the Red Box, go shopping at Walmart, go to the Red Box after, pick out a movie and watch that. So I do watch a fair amount of movies, but a lot of those movies are of her choosing, so not really my kind of movies. But that's really it for my favorite types of movies. If any of those actors I mentioned are in a movie, I've probably seen that movie. And then of course, Home Alone 1 and 2. When I was a kid, loved those movies. If they're on TV too, I always have to watch the movie for a while. I always head to the store, pick up the milk, eggs, and fabric softener like Kevin does in the first movie. That's sort of a running joke in my family. Those are some of my favorite movies. What type of music is your favorite? Do you have any favorite artists or bands? As far as favorite music goes, I would say I'm open to listen to just about any type of music outside of country. Not a big country fan at all. I would say my favorite genre of music would be pop music. I have Sirius XM in my car, and anytime I go anywhere, usually I listen to Pop 2K, and really that's when I listened to a lot of music, was in the 2000s. And then Pop Rocks would be the 2 main channels I listen to on there. My girlfriend is a big Today's Hits fan, so I know a lot of the brand new music. I guess for concerts that I've went to in the past couple of years, this has all been with my girlfriend. We went and saw Mike Posner, Demi Lovato, Nick Jonas, Nelly, Enrique Iglesias, and Pitbull, so there's sort of a variety there. And really anything that has a good beat to it I really like. Actually, it's almost embarrassing, but when I work out, I listen to some wireless headphones. I listen to a lot of Shakira, La Bicicleta, Chantaje, 2 great songs, all in Spanish, so you're probably not going to like those if you don't know any Spanish at all. I know a little bit. My brother and girlfriend are fluent in Spanish, but a very good beat to both of those songs, and really sort of a lively music video I watch on my tablet while I'm working out, running like that. Keeps me pumped up. Really a great beat, and that's really what I like with songs. So if a song has a good beat, I'll definitely listen to it. I'm a big Backstreet Boys fan, and growing up in the 90s, 2000s, I know Backstreet Boys is a boy band, sort of embarrassing to listen to as well. Love the Backstreet Boys, listen to a lot of their songs, especially from the late 90s, early 2000s. More of a nostalgic band for me. What I like about Backstreet Boys, when I was younger, went to the elementary school, which is right down the street. It was the middle school at the time. Used to go roller skating there and listen to Backstreet Boys, so sort of nostalgic for me. Definitely sing along in the car, but really open to a wide variety of music genres. But if you were to narrow it down to one, I would say pop music is my favorite type of music. Really anything that has a good beat and lifts your spirits. What is your favorite food? So as far as favorite foods go, I can think of 2 off the top of my head, and both of these are at specific restaurants. Number 1, and I'll give you a little bit of funny story about this, but I would say my favorite food would be a medium 2-topping pizza from Domino's, pepperoni and mushroom. Love Domino's, probably the best chain pizza franchise in the United States. Everywhere I lived, college, and then when I lived in the suburbs of Minneapolis, I would order Domino's every couple of weeks. Where I live now, only about 10,000 people live here. Unfortunately, no Domino's. But the funny thing about pizza being one of my favorite foods, I do not like cheese on any food except for pizza, and I am very picky on specific pizzas. The cheese has to be more of a mixture. It can't be too much of mozzarella or cheddar, so it has to be a mixture. Cannot stand the smell of cheese or anything, but do like the pizza very well. A very garlic flavored pizza at Domino's. And then my second favorite food I would say would be tacos, and mainly because of my girlfriend. a lot of Mexican food I eat, but tacos, favorite type of meat there would be al pastor. You go to Taqueria La Hacienda in Minneapolis, 3 different locations there, easily the best al pastor tacos in the area. A little onion on there, a little cilantro. I pour on the green and red sauce on the corn tortillas. Excellent tacos overall. Am a big taco fan. I can eat really tacos any day of the week. So those are really my 2 favorite foods. I am a big seafood fan as well. Eat a lot of fish as well as shrimp. I am a big shrimp fan. Actually, a local pizza place in town I ordered the shrimp pizza from when I order pizza, which I don't do very often anymore. Eat very clean, eat a lot of salads, smoothies, nuts, anything that is healthy like that. Like I mentioned earlier, like to stay physically fit, and eating healthy really helps out health-wise. Before I was sort of plagued by a bad back, eating healthy really has helped me out. Haven't had back issues for quite some time. Have you ever thought of making different content on YouTube? So as far as other videos on my channel, I would say all the videos on this channel are going to be related to Pokemon cards. I would definitely try and start a new channel if I was to do some other type of content. I actually had a channel called Primetime Walkthrough, which I started several years ago. It didn't last very long. I played Pokemon Black on there, so I did some gameplay videos. The videos went fine, but the videos just took way too long to make and then edit, where I didn't have that kind of time. Where I make Pokemon card opening videos, for the most part, depending on the product, I'll put a little time into researching what is going to be on the inside. It'll take, 10 minutes to make the video, another hour to edit it. So it's all quick and simple, and it is a good quality video and something I really enjoy doing. Where those gameplay videos would just take too long, not only figuring out exactly what you had to do in the video, but then just making sure you did everything right in the video. As far as other videos that I would consider making on YouTube, really anything that piques my interest. On the top of my head, I would say anything related to fantasy football. I could see myself analyzing matchups from week to week in fantasy football for the 17 weeks of the NFL, daily fantasy sports. I could see myself doing review type videos. Anything that I have interest in, like the African violets, that's something that's really lacking out there, is a lot of information on the different varieties of African violets. I know a lot of people aren't fans probably of collecting the flowers. It's more of a senior citizen almost hobby of collecting those plants, and that's really the reason that you don't see much information out there for African violets. I could see myself doing disc golf disc reviews. I have a ton of disc golf discs. I would say probably 30 different makes of Innovidiscs. I could see myself doing any type of review video, like on my new camera that I bought, on the microphone, on anything related to ping pong, any new paddles that I try out, any new table that I play on, anything like that. As far as fishing goes, what rod and reel I have, what line I think works best, how different lures work, that type of thing. And I do own my own home. Where I'm sitting here is my own house. Where I record my videos, actually my parents' house. I've always recorded my videos there. But my entire house here has been remodeled. I painted the entire interior, both the walls and the ceiling. Exterior of my house, I painted the exterior, the foundation, siding, windows, soffits, fascia, everything out there, so I could do some videos on painting. I got a new roof, new gutters, did all the landscaping, which took all of this summer. So as far as sort of just tips for doing things around the house, I could see myself doing as well. But as you probably found out in this video, my life is a lot more than just Pokemon cards, so I have a lot of other interests and a lot of different things I could do on my channel. Would like to do sort of an exercise type of channel, a fitness channel. I'm only about 5'8", 160, so I'm not the strongest guy out there, so I don't know if a channel like that would have the best reception just because I'm not a huge guy like that. But I could see myself doing something like that as well. I like to help other people. I could be a very good teacher as well. So any type of video where I'm helping people would really pique my interest. So lots of other videos I could be doing, but like I said, I'll stick to Pokemon card related videos on this channel. And that's really one of the reasons that my channel, while it does have close to 400,000 subscribers, it doesn't have massive amounts of subscribers, into the millions. Pokemon cards doesn't have that huge of audience. The games, there's a lot more people playing than the cards. that type of thing. And my videos are more informational in style as opposed to over-the-top sort of entertainment style. And some people like that style. Some people do like the over-the-top sort of fake reactions type of videos. Who do you watch on YouTube, both Pokemon related and not Pokemon related? So I sort of answered this question earlier. As far as other Poketubers that I watch, there's not really anyone that I watch all the time nowadays. Like I mentioned, any YouTuber that has sent me a fan mail package, I have watched at least one of your videos if you have videos. And then I used to watch a lot of Slayer of MCA, was the main channel that I would watch all the time. He doesn't do much for videos anymore. And then God Trainer was the one that actually inspired me to make videos on YouTube. His videos, not good lighting at all, but he was very informational in his videos. I think that's what piqued my interest. He was more of a competitive player of the TCG, where I'm mainly a collector, but he would go through different cards and state how they were used in the TCG, which I thought was very interesting. And when I first started making videos on YouTube, my friends would all get together a couple of times a week and actually play the TCG competitively. Unfortunately, nowadays, the closest league to where I live is about an hour away, I would say, which isn't too bad, but there are not any pre-release events where that league is at, so I'd actually have to drive about 3 hours away to go to the pre-release events, which I could do, but I like to just be like a normal consumer and try and get the products as soon as possible. As far as other YouTubers go, I have been a subscriber to Philip DeFranco for a long time. Watched him back when he used to wear his hat backwards, back in his early days there. That's where I get a lot of my news. I watch him off and on. There'll be times where I watch his videos every single day, and other times where I go a couple of months without watching his videos. He's a very popular YouTuber and been on there a long time. That's more for news. I watch Roto Grinders videos for some of my fantasy football tips. The NFL Expert Roundtable with Adam Levitan and JM to Win, two great analysts on there. I watch a lot of disc golf videos, a lot of tournaments. The coverage is getting better and better. Jomez Productions and Central Coast Disc Golf, as well as Spin TV, three good channels for disc golf. And then I watch some fitness-related channels. I know Vince Del Monte is very good. I've actually talked to him personally, back and forth through email a couple of times. He's known at one time as the skinny guy savior. He was a skinny guy growing up. I'm skinny, as you can tell right now still, so he was very helpful to me. And then I watch Scooby 1961. He's an older guy, big guy, but very good on tips, and really has a lot of videos on working out from home, which I do now. Love that. When I lived up in the Twin Cities, I lived about a block away from a Lifetime Fitness. Loved going over there every day before work. Would wake up at about 3:30 in the morning every single day, because there was about 75,000 people in the city I lived in up there. I lived in a suburb. So it was just jam-packed at that fitness center during the day. Even 6 o'clock it would be jammed in the morning. So I'd get there about 4 o'clock in the morning, do my weightlifting, then I would head to the swimming pool, hot tub, and sauna. Just love that. Great start to my day every single day. Really do miss that about living up there. At my apartment there's a swimming pool, sauna, and hot tub as well, so I was always very comfortable. Love the feeling, the hot tub on my back like that. Just miss out on that quite a bit, but it is nice being able to just go down your steps here, miss out on any snow like we have here in Minnesota, and just get to working out. You don't have to worry about anybody watching you or using the equipment you want to use. Everything's just there for you to use. So that concludes this updated Primetime Pokemon Facts video. Thank you everyone for watching. Lots of exciting videos coming in the near future, of course. Crimson Invasion will be released in November. I also plan on potentially doing some live stream videos and even a face cam video in the very near future. If you have additional questions for me related either to this video or just in general, you can always contact me on my YouTube channel, Facebook, or Twitter pages, or you can always email me via my business email, ptpbiz@yahoo.com. But thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages, and make sure to check out my book, Pokemon Cards, the Unofficial Ultimate Collector's Guide if you have not already. There'll be a link in the description of this video. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you. And here is a look at my entire shirt in case you were interested. It is very similar to what was in Space Jam, another one of my favorite movies of all time.